Prism, and welcome to another video. So today, I just got done watching an animated feature film, one that I've actually not seen, at least as far as I can remember. Today, I finished watching 1997's Quest for Camelot. This is a Warner Brothers feature animation film that was a pretty big box office bomb, and quite critically panned, but I don't really want to talk about that. I want to talk about my opinion on the film. So that's what I'm going to be doing in today's video. So with that, let's get into my review.
A brave quest
Camelot
is about to begin.
I want to go on grand adventures. I want to go to Camelot.
Warner Brothers Family Entertainment presents Quest for Camelot.
So, part of my interest in watching this film was the micromanaging that took place. This film was one of the multiple Warner feature animation failures, as I previously mentioned, and a lot of that had to do with studio interference, where Warner Brothers wanted to make it more of a musical, and yeah, there were quite a few changes made. I don't have an exact list, but it has been noted that this film did suffer quite a bit of studio interference, production head changing, stuff like that. There was quite a bit of chaos that went on during the production of this film. However, for the picture itself, I think that Quest for Camelot is quite solid. I think it's definitely your run-of-the-mill 1990s non-Disney animated feature. I don't think it blows the doors open like The Prince of Egypt or Toy Story, but I also don't think it is badly offensive in terms of the quality of the film. I was thinking watching this that this was going to be a lot more on a kiddish level, but there are some actually dark moments in the film, and the humor, while I don't like it sometimes, I do think they don't turn it into a complete joke fest, which I do appreciate. So, the story for Quest for Camelot is pretty basic. Here's how it goes. Casey has always wanted to be a knight. In fact, her father is one of the Knights of the Round Table, but after his death, her and her mother are about to be killed by Lord Ruber, having to work for him and do as he desires in order to get Excalibur and take over Camelot. But Kayleys gets away and meets up with Garrett, and Garrett and her have a relationship, and they go on a journey to try and receive Excalibur before the villain can get a hold of it. After a while of them obtaining it and all the stuff that goes on, they finally get to their destination, and there's a big final fight scene, and of course, I'm not spoiling everything, but that's the general gist of the movie. It's your average 1990s Knights of the Round Table movie. Now, when it comes to this film, and my general thoughts on it, I think it's fine. I think it's fine for just being a 1990s animated feature. Like I said before, I don't think it does anything groundbreaking. I think the animation, it looks well enough. It looks fine. I mean, it's a 1990s animation. It definitely isn't under the budget of Disney. But I do think they do have some cool effects and some stuff like that, but they're very few and far between. Like I said, I think the plot's pretty basic, but honestly, I think if you just want a fun King Arthur animated film, you're gonna get it here. I think if you want a fun kids movie or one for your kids, you're gonna get that here. What I will say that I think I have an issue with are some of the musical numbers. There's definitely issues with the placement of musical numbers. There's one scene where something tragic happens, and then we immediately go into a psalm, and they do that another time, but it works better, but the second time they do it, it feels like it was forced. It just feels really awkward to have a psalm there. I also think that the psalm for the two-headed dragon it feels like your Disney kind of psalm, like the Gargoyle psalm, like one of those very just generic comedy kids psalms in order to try and entertain the audience. If I had any negatives with the film besides the music, I think the climax is a little bit basic. I would have liked to have actually seen some sword fighting action. There's no real sword fight, it's just kind of the villain slashing and whatever, and they outwit the villain. in a smart way, I would say, but it does also feel kind of like a plot convenience the way it's done. And I will say really quickly, on the music of the film, I think it's generally fine. You know, I mentioned some issues with the songs. They aren't great, but, you know, they're fine. But overall, I think Quest for Camelot's totally a fine film. If you want to watch it, go ahead. I wouldn't waste your money on it, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't look too much for it, but if you are into 90s animated stuff, then I think Quest for Camelot is definitely a film you might enjoy. And I think that's honestly going to be my thoughts on it. I think it's basic, but I think it's fun, and it isn't as dumb and kiddish as I thought it was going to be. There's certainly moments, but it also does keep it in a more serious tone when it needs to. There are just little things about it, though, that do kind of pull away from that tone, but obviously, it's an animated kids film. This isn't going to be the quality of Lord of the Rings or even Prince of Egypt because, well, there's very few cases where an animated film that's made for kids goes way further than it should. Like, there are a few examples, but yeah, Warner Brothers, their animation studio, they weren't ready to do anything really groundbreaking like that. But that's my thoughts for Quest for Camelot, and I hope you enjoy the video, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys!